Well, here we are on Friday, and since yesterday's went so well, I decided why not play another combo deck. And this is sort of closer to what we used to have back in the day with the Warlock. It's different, but once upon a time, before some of the cards involved were nerfed, we had that whole Arcane Golem, Power Overwhelming, Faceless Manipulator combo that could do 16 or 24 damage depending on what you had. You needed both Power Overwhelmings to do 24. But once again, you just try to get your opponent down a little bit and then finish them off all in one fell swoop because, you know, the reason Charge keeps getting nerfed in this game is because it's super good. And speaking of Charge, it's Charge. So what are we doing with this deck? I mean, ultimately, we are trying to buy time, build a board, annoy our opponent, and then we're ending up with Charge, +2 attack and Charge, a Raging Worgen, which is a 3/3, but when it gets enraged, it has Wind Fury and +1 attack. And then we need some kind of activator. Now, what's interesting about this is there's quite a few different ways you can do this. The cheapest is really just the 6 mana with Charge, the Worgen, and an Inner Rage. You get 12 damage for that just off the bat. That's pretty cool. But if you have more cards at your disposal, then you can do more stuff. Like double Inner Rage is then 4 more damage. 16. Or there's the Cruel Taskmaster that can do something similar. Or there's Rampage if you happen to have that and you've damaged it with one of your other sources. Blood to Ichor's an activator for it. It doesn't boost its attack like Inner Rage or Cruel Taskmaster does, but it works. Whirlwind works in a pinch. A Pyromancer can work in a pinch, even though it's a little weird. So we have several ways to activate it. And then we have some other stuff that you would expect from a deck that's focused on pinging your own minions for a certain reason. We have Battle Rage, one of them, to try and draw off of maybe a heavy Whirlwind effect or something else. And if, I mean, worst case scenario, as long as you've taken damage, you cycle it for 2 mana. Hopefully you're hoping to get 2. And if you get any more, then it's, you know, great. A Fiery War Axe because we're a warrior. We have a couple of slams. Another potential activator for both that. And the other big ace of this deck, of course, is our old buddy Grim Patron. We have plenty of cards, as mentioned, that can ping. So this is another mid-game option. It either helps us build a board to wear them down to the point where the combo hits, or if the combo has to be broken up for some reason, it gives us other ways to then try and swarm the board and win. Beyond that, it's kind of about card draw and reducing the cost of the combo to make it as efficient as possible. So we have a Thorson because we're a combo deck. We have one Bloodhoof Brave. I don't know. I feel like it's important to have a little bit more in the 4 slot. It can be enraged very easily, and it's a taunt, which might help us buy some time. I'm sure there are variants of this deck that don't run this. Other than that, we have Gnomish Inventor for card draw. We have Acolyte of Pain for card draw. And we're just going to see what happens. Now, this is not a simple deck to play. And as we've talked about multiple times in this series, I'm not the best Hearthstone player. This takes a lot of careful consideration and some other fun stuff to do. But we're going to see what we can manage to pull off here. It should be fun. By the way, last couple couple executes just to get rid of threats, specifically taunts to make way for, you know, our finishing combo. And a couple of Ravaging Ghouls because it's already a 3/3 for 3. And you can really control when you want that battle cry to activate and help yourself out. What could happen, I wonder? Now, the nice thing about this is there are clear combo pieces. And that's how you do it. You cue the game up, your opponent forfeits, and you win the game. I don't think we're going to end the video there. Let's try and find another match. Maybe one where we don't have a forfeit on the first turn. Anyway, clear combo pieces. So we know there are certain cards, particularly like Inner Rage, that we want to keep, because that's 0 mana. So we can use that to activate whatever we need to, whether it's patrons or cards that we're looking to play right away, like the Acolyte of Pain. Sometimes you might save it to wait until you have like a Ravaging Ghoul or a Whirlwind or something. Here, if it's turn 3 and that's our best play, we're going to drop it out there. And if we only get 1 ping off of it, that's okay. We'll get a card draw out of it.
Bring it on!
Oh yeah, and Frothing Berserkers, of course, because we're looking to do lots of damage everywhere. I'm going to toss Charge, which is a little weird because it's kind of our win condition, but that's okay. We'll draw to it later. We wouldn't mind a Fiery War Axe in our starting hand, you know? That's a thing. Probably should be a little more aggressive mulliganing than that, since we don't have a lot of high-end targets in this. We're not worried about pulling a whole lot that's going to hurt us. I mean, there's, yeah, the Emperor Thorsten or something we don't want in our starting hand, but... This is awkward. We'll see what we're up against, too. I don't think Control Warriors are a particularly great matchup for this, especially if we get off to this low of a start.
Are you my master?
Cthulhu Warrior. Well, it's a little mana inefficient, but it's a Fiery War Axe. We're contractually obligated to play it. Okay. Well, let's just keep going on curve, shall we?
I have an axe to grind.
I have an axe to grind. Don't really have a good way to deal with that, unfortunately.
I wonder.
Could execute it, that's a little weird.
Pass me that arc-light spanner.
I don't know if this is going to be a super big, beefy Cthulhu Warrior. We may end up regretting that, but we do have 2 executes in the deck. And we have some more potential for drawing here. Depending on what happens to our board.
I have an axe to grind.
Ask me a question. Well, I actually don't mind the Emperor Thorsten here potentially either, but we're not really getting any important combo pieces with it right now if we play it. So, this is always interesting, but we still don't have a clean kill here. Take a lot of damage to get rid of it. That's one way. Let's take a lot of damage, shall we?
Hey, give me a minute.
The double rope. Hey, that looks familiar. All right. Well, playing a patron's the worst idea in the world. I mean, it's not the worst, but I think with what we have in hand, I think this is just what we're going to let the ping here.
By the power of Ragnaros, I have the power!
Lots of fun cards to reduce in cost. You can't just outright kill it. He'll need something else. Shield Slam, maybe. Sure. It turns out that's actually a great target for him. He doesn't know that, but that's our biggest health threat in the deck. Now we have to be a little bit careful here because we haven't seen anything like, say, Brawl, anything of the sort.
What now?
A fight! Cold me! The blade be thirsty! Everyone! Get in here!
I think we'll leave it at that. We could hit face, but we've seen a shield slam. Not terribly worried about the rest. It would be nice to fade a Brawl here, but I severely doubt it. Did leave a full health patron. Tuh. And an owl. What a strange deck we're up against, huh? Well, I don't know. I feel like we should do a little more everyone get in here.
Speak to me.
I wish we could draw the other patron so we could help that out, but alas. Gonna have to find some more damage, though. He's sitting on 32 health, and while we've got a cheaper Worgen.
Do you hear its call?
Do you hear its call?
Listen closely.
We're also one turn away from Armageddon, which is Cthulhu. This is where I don't know how greedy we really want to be. We have some greedy options here.
I wonder.
Slam again. We could kill it. Slamadoku. I think this is kind of fun.
Bring the pain.
Haha. Pile on. It's a little weird, I know, but we're in trouble regardless, so we got off to much too slow of a start. Yeah. This is why we talked about this being a pretty bad matchup. This is exactly the reason right here. I don't know how we come back from this. Just the 6/6 on board we don't really have an answer for. It's pretty good. Feels good. Guess we gotta start trying to find an answer, though. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. We could build a whole bunch of patrons. I'm not really sure what that would do. Just get wiped out by Cthulhu, more than likely. Even then, we used a Whirlwind. We don't have a Ravaging Ghoul right now, so we can't build very many patrons. We have the Wild Pyromancer to help us a bit, but it's gross. I think that's the best we can do, though. We got to build a whole bunch of stuff and then just see what happens.
A fight! Cold me! Do you like to play with fire?
Shoot!
So we're going to be as greedy as we can be in this spot. We could enter Rage to make more patrons, but we're going to try and have our cake and eat it too. It's not going to work, mind you. But we're keeping our combo pieces in some vague hope of patrons swarming and then being able to build again next turn. It's not going to happen, though, so... Cleave. That's a thing that just happened. We're losing to a deck that's playing Cleave.
The blade be thirsty. Back to work.
This is weird, I know, but... Again, we're scrambling for any kind of answer here. We have 16 damage in hand. The problem is our opponent has 34 health and is a warrior, so that's just going to keep happening. Now we just did 5 damage to him, so that's something. It's not much, but it's something. We gotta get him to spend a little more of that gore house so we can then play this out more effectively. Sure. This seems like a thing we can do. Four cards in deck. He hasn't even drawn his Cthulhu yet. When that comes out, we're dead. We used our last execute because, again, we were trying to limp to some kind of finish.
I have an axe.
All we can do is the best that we can. Also, this is, I'm doing the math wrong on this. This is 4, 6, 8, 10. So we have 20 damage in hand. We only have 5 damage on board, though, so... Oh, if he didn't armor this turn, that would be so fun. He has to armor her. Alright, so what could we draw? We already used our Rampage. What else could we draw to bump this up? That doesn't really do it, but we can play it here. It's going to make that Berserker huge, but I don't know that we really care about him right now.
I'm almost out of cards.
I don't know that that really helps either. I think we have to throw... Well, I don't want to throw away the Acolyte of Pain just to make it an 8 attack, though. This is where I need to have the card thing. I don't know what the last card in the deck is. I guess we should find out, huh?
Bring the pain. I'm out of cards.
Nah, it's a Whirlwind. Well, that's bad. I don't think we can... We don't have any way to trick him into this. I don't think. I could play a Worgen. We could try to get one more turn out of this.
I must choose.
Even if he does 3 more damage to himself, though, he armors. He goes back to 23. And we only have 20 damage in hand. So unless if he goes face with a Berserker, then we have a shot. We need him to hit face and not trade, but he's not going to do that, is he? I think he just did that. Oh, he's not going to like the way this goes. Now, it's very important that we do this in the right order. Well, we had no business winning that, but that was why we were sitting there struggling the entire time. And it was because our opponent forgot his place. He's a control deck, and he should have absolutely taken away the only minion on board, considering I was in fatigue and didn't have any more cards to draw. So, I don't feel that bad. A little bit lucky, don't get me wrong. I mean, we didn't earn that win per se, but I think limping through it was the correct play, and it happened to work out with exact lethal. We had no more damage to get than that. So, we'll take it. And I probably messed up a couple plays there, too, if we're being honest. I think especially in the mid-game, there were a couple things I could have done differently, but it was enough to get by, I suppose. So that's our week of Hearthstone. Chrono Trigger should be back on Monday. Business as usual, and I'm sure we'll revisit this somewhere down the road because it's Hearthstone. It's innocuous fun.